Hi, I'm Amy.
And I'm Kirsty.
And this is our podcast covering the highs, lows and realities of parenting a child with neurodiversity.
Each week we'll be sharing updates from our lives and hearing from a variety of guests about their advice and experiences.
This is Love Needs No Words. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Love Needs No Words. The boys are back in school. They started last week. How's it going for Max, Kirst?
Hooray! First and foremost, woohoo! He went back to school, I think, or I sent him back to school with a mixture of delight and trepidation. I think it was a real juxtaposition, and he actually was all right first day. I think a little nervous, and he was actually able to say that he felt nervous, which was good. But yeah, he was actually fine going in. He was a little bit put off. There was a little boy in his class having a really tough time and not wanting to go in, and I think Max was a bit like, oh, do I not want to go in? But day one, he had a really good day, and he came running out and he said, I've had a lovely day. And I thought, oh, wonderful. This is great. Maybe we've turned an absolute corner. You know, like you don't breathe because it was good.
Yeah.
Day two, not so great, but bump back to reality. But then Friday he had a good day. So I think this is it. It's just going to be ups and downs like it was last year. But also he's got a new teacher who's new to the school, doesn't know Max at all. So there's going to be a bit of settling in period, I think, of her understanding him and, you know, what support he's going to need from her at different times of the day on a new sort of timetable that looks different from last year. So it's all a bit of a learning curve, I think, for everybody. But he did not want to go into school this morning, which is quite unusual for him. We were fine he did say in the morning that he didn't really want to go in, and we were kind of a bit like, okay, you know, it's normal to feel nervous and blah blah blah. And I sort of said, to be honest, I get days where I don't want to go back to work. Oh, yeah, for sure. It's like really normal. If you've had a nice weekend, you naturally don't feel like. But then normally by the time we get into the school gates, that's it. It's gone. He's fine. He goes straight in. But he really hung back today, and it did take a bit to get him into the classroom, which we've not had before. So I'm not sure, but I was talking to a friend this morning, and her son's the same age as our two, and she was saying her son didn't want to go in either. Today, and when he went today, I think he went back late last week. So it's kind of that not really knowing like where the land lies between neurodiverse child not struggling in school and that making him anxious, and then just like typical child behaviour of not wanting to go back to school after the school holidays. So yeah, time will tell on that one.
Yeah, it's a real transition, like you say, with like new teachers, new classrooms, and all the messaging from the last terms being passed over to the new teachers, and making sure that communication is still being had. I mean, day two, do you want to talk about what happened? Or
so he had Max can be quite physical when he's frustrated, so he pinched another child on their arm, which we did have over the summer, was pinching. So I wasn't entirely surprised that had made its way into the classroom. And another incident as well. And actually, one of the things that's different from last year is that the teacher asked me obviously to come in and speak to them, which is fine, and that she did actually deliver the message of what had happened in front of Max, and I could really see that it was going in, and he was a bit like, oh, this is unusual. Mummy's actually being told what's happened here, because previously I've been called in and he's been sort of kept away from the conversation, or the school have phoned me. So yeah, I could kind of see on his face and he was a bit like, oh, this feels uncomfortable, and this isn't as usual. So
I think it's a good approach then, because then at least he can hear firsthand.
I'm not entirely sure, and I'm open for people's feedback on this to understand exactly what the sort of thoughts are behind it. I kind of feel like he's getting to a point where he does need to understand the implications of what he's doing. And my job's then to push back on the school and say what support is being put in place to ensure that this doesn't happen. But obviously it's not acceptable for him to pinch another child. He actually knows that he shouldn't do it. He can't stop himself in the moment, hence why I need to to work with the school to ensure that support is there. But what I don't want him to ever think is that that's acceptable behaviour from my perspective or his dad's perspective or the school's perspective, because it's not okay that another child gets hurt. So yeah, it's a bit of a, so yeah, I don't know 100%, but think I think he's kind of getting to the point, to the age where I want him to understand the consequences of his behavior, I think, and
Yeah.
what happens after it. But I'm open to people's suggestions about whether that's the right thing or the wrong thing. I don't know.
It's so difficult as well because we've spoken about it before, especially with children with additional needs. When they're doing actions like that, a lot of it is out of their control. Like they know it's bad, but they just can't help themselves doing certain
Yeah, for sure.
actions. And
They're just communicating, aren't they?
yeah,
They're just communicating something when the words
yeah,
like don't readily come. So I understand all of that, and it's not. I'm not coming at it from a point of anger, but I do want him to understand that that's not. We're going to have to
yeah,
find other ways together, and the school are going to have to help him and support him to find other ways of expressing himself. And that's going
yeah,
to be a long road, because that's one thing I've learned, along with all of this, is that it doesn't happen overnight. It takes a long time to change these behaviors, and frankly it's quite ingrained in Max. It is his kind of go-to place, that if he feels frustrated or he can't communicate or he's overwhelmed or any uncomfortable emotion, really, that comes out with some kind of physical act.
yeah. And you were saying, weren't you, that because we've spoken briefly about it, but it was quite an enclosed area, and
Mm,
something like that can trigger him easily. So
yeah,
you just don't
yeah,
know, do you, of
no.
what the circumstance was, and yeah, what caused it.
Exactly, because you're not there.
Yeah,
And so yeah, it's a really tricky one, because when you're there, obviously you can almost sometimes, I'm sure other parents that kind of get to this point as well, you can see what's going to play out
yeah.
almost before it happens sometimes, because you think, I can see it, like, I can
Instinct for
literally,
you as a parent.
instinct, and knowing what they're like, and yeah, knowing how they're triggered in certain situations. But obviously you're not there during the school day. It's really difficult to know. You end up coming on this like fact finding mission, don't you, almost sometimes, of, okay, what happened, what was, and I didn't in this particular instance, but I have done previously, of just really trying to understand exactly what happened. And you're really reliant on being told accurate information, or them even knowing, because the reality is Max doesn't have a one-to-one all day
Yeah,
every day in the classrooms. There are points of the day where he is on his own, but
yeah,
yeah, I suppose the positive that came out of it is that the teacher very openly shared with me what had happened, and sort of said, it's a learning curve for her as well, to work out um, how she can best support Max, and what. That's all. To be honest, that's all I can really ask for from the teacher, is about an open conversation
yeah.
between the two of us. And not ideal that it happened in the first place. To be honest, it's not an ideal situation. It never has been. It's been one of the most challenging parts, I would say, is like that physical outlet that he has, because you don't want your
It's
child
not
to hurt
easy.
another child. It's a very uncomfortable feeling as a parent. You don't blame your child, but you really feel for that other child, and they shouldn't. They don't deserve to be caught up in it. Tricky. Yeah.
Yeah, tricky sitch. But yeah, it
Yeah.
sounds like you dealt with it really well. And like you say, it's just an open conversation. And yeah, mainly, the hardest thing, like you say, is it's happening there and you've got no control over it.
No.
So all you can do is advise from the sidelines,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, yeah, and absolutely, and you can kind of have the conversations at home, but the moment's sort of gone.
Yes.
And I have noticed sometimes, in some of the instances where situations have happened, it's almost like he has no memory that it's happened at all. It's just happened so quickly,
Yeah.
so
It was
instinctively.
impulse.
It's
Yeah.
gone, and it's literally gone afterwards. So, yeah, it's not the easiest one to manage. And actually, you made a really valid point about speaking to an OT. I think we one of the things we spoke about with his school before the end of term was getting support from the speech and language autism team as well, because it is fundamentally down. And it's always been the same, because Max had a speech delay. He really struggled with speech early on, and you could see that the behavior that he was like showing was because he just could not he didn't have words at all at that point.
Yeah.
Like there was no words, so he was just kind of expressing himself in a different way, and that's kind of just carried on.
Yes.
And I sort of said to his teacher, I was like, it's really difficult because you expect him to be able to find the words because he's very verbal and
Yeah.
quite articulate, and he can
Yeah.
speak and he can converse, but actually he hasn't got the ability yet to be able to share how he's feeling about anything, cannot recognize that at all.
Mm.
And definitely cannot find the words in the moment. So yeah, just falls back to rote really, where it's like that, just I need help, I'm going to
Yeah.
do something.
And like you say, when it's a communication thing where it's
Yeah.
impulse because he can't, he can't get the words out, like I can't right now, can't get the words out of how he's feeling. And so
Mhm.
it's like an impulse reaction. So, it's not coming from a nasty place. It's not,
Mm-mm.
so that makes it even more difficult to navigate.
Yeah, I know, and we're in this space at the moment where, bless him, he just apologizes a lot, and it's
Oh,
really yeah, and it's really hard because I don't want him to constantly be apologizing, but I do also want him to know, and I
yeah.
suppose it's a positive thing that he recognizes that that behavior is not sort of acceptable per
Okay.
se.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not okay. Um, yeah, so we're kind of in that space at the moment. It's one of those real moments where you question yourself, am I doing the right thing here, like what do I do? And I know I spoke to you about, where's that boundary between disciplining and sort of making them understand that that's not okay, it's not acceptable from your perspective, and etc., and then being really like understanding and accommodating of the needs that they have. It feels like such a fine line that you're dancing all the time to get it
Yeah.
right, and not shaming them, and not making them feel like they're a really bad, in inverted commas, child who, because of what they're doing. It's a really tricky one, something that I'm finding a difficult one to navigate, I think.
Yeah, I think so many people listening could relate to that, and,
Mm.
and I'm the same. There's been so many times over the years where Alex has done something and I know it's not coming from a bad place. It's because he can't, can't communicate, or it's an action he's doing to get a sound, or like, for example, his throwing recently, that
Yeah.
is a reaction that he really enjoys that sensation, or he likes the sound of something. Or I remember one stage he was posting things in random places, or he would just suddenly throw something to hear the noise, and you'll speak to a professional and they'll say, oh, just let him do it because he's enjoying the sound or he's enjoying the reaction. Well, try going to somebody's house and he's just launching something across the room and you're like, yay, lovely sound.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
and it's their camera or their phone
Yes.
or something. And
Yeah.
it wasn't in that case. But what I'm saying is, and they're looking at you like, why aren't you telling him off for
I
that
know.
action? So you're like, I don't know what the right thing is to do.
I know. I know, and it's almost ripping up the rule book of what you
Yeah.
thought you would do when you were parenting a child, because I suppose so many of us kind of are guided by our own childhood, and you take stuff that you feel like worked for you, and then you kind of and then you find yourself with this child and you're like, yeah, that's not going to work.
Yeah, that's got to go
That
right
is
in the
not
bin.
going to work. So you just need to you need to do a whole little rethink of that, because that's no good. That just someone I think it was actually when we were speaking, you were like, have you tried shouting at him, like, I can't remember what the exact
Did
situation
you
was,
tell him
but
off? How does
yeah,
he react?
literally, have you
Yeah.
tried, how does he react? I'm like, he doesn't care, like,
No,
or he will care, but that won't stop the behavior. So you
no.
can see that actually it's had zero effect whatsoever,
Apart from getting you really
apart from
stressed.
getting me stressed or him
Yeah.
getting upset in the moment.
Yeah,
But the reality,
exactly.
and it's like, okay, so that doesn't work at all. Like, and I've tried to really save like a shout for a real sort of safety moment, like if he's going to run in front of a car or whatever. But yeah, it's like, how far do you go? And then managing other parents' expectations of what do what do they expect you to do in this situation? And then you kind of, do you look like a really laissez-faire parent who's not, oh, I don't know, it's a nightmare.
It's just hard because
So
I don't know
hard.
what guest came on, but I remember them saying that they just see their little family bubble when they're out now, and they try to ignore like outside noise. And if their child does something, you know, don't look to the left, don't look to the right, don't look at reactions from people. Just know that that's something they do. It's impulsive. They're not hurting anyone. They're not doing anything to, you know, upset anybody, and just carry on as you would react to it, as long as it's not hurting anybody. Or
But that's the
you know,
tricky
but
bit
it's
for
very
us,
difficult,
is
very
that
difficult.
often that does relate to somebody getting hurt.
Well, yes,
And that's
yes.
where it's really tricky
Yeah.
to deal with, because it's just not okay for other children or adults or anyone. It's just not okay for somebody else to get hurt.
Yeah. It's time to bring in the big guns, I think. Get an expert on board.
Yes, yeah, I think so. But the thing is as well, is it's not like something that's happening every single day, all day. It's
No, but
like,
that's fine. They can just put things in place that the school can then put in place, and it doesn't have to, like, the things they're dealing with Alex are things that he, you know, he used to do. Some of the things he doesn't do now, but it's just, if any of those things crop up again, this is how you deal with it. It's the best way of dealing with it. Because sometimes some of the things an OT will implement, occupational therapists will implement, works for so many different things. So it's like one technique will work with so many sensory things. So yeah, it's time to bring in the big guns, see what they've
bring
got
in
to
the big
say.
guns. Yeah, but trying to get hold of an OT, it's really
Yeah, there's
difficult
that
as
as
well.
well. Yeah.
I reached out to many over the summer to no avail, I have to add.
Yeah. And don't even try on the NHS. That's an
No, I
absolute
have,
nightmare.
and that's just not gonna happen at all.
And it's not cheap either. There's so many
No,
people
I
listening
know.
that wouldn't be able to afford it, and it's just so difficult. You want to get the support and help in place early, and then it's unaffordable, so it's really
absolutely.
difficult.
Yeah, it is really challenging. How did Alex get on with his first day back?
Yeah, I was
first few days back, I should say.
Yeah, I was really, well, as I say on the last podcast, I was really stressed about the first day. I had arranged for John to take him, and then realized, thanks to a friend of ours, that he was going back the Thursday, not the Wednesday. So he would have been in his school uniform at the front gate on his first day if our friend hadn't messaged me. So thank you, Sarah, for that.
Have you seen Motherland? It would have been the exact situation on Motherland. Amy, do you realise it's still the school holiday?
I would have been like,
yes,
anyone here that could just
help out
the day. Come on, guys, help a friend. So yeah, he went in the next day, which meant I had to take him. So I was like, right, come on, just be cool, everything's fine, I'm really chill. And then so he was going through the front gate, not the side gate, and I thought he'd automatically turn right, start pulling on my arm and heading towards his old teacher. But the social story definitely worked. His one-to-one was standing at the door waiting for him, so we just literally walked towards the door. She put her arm out, and he took her hand and off he went. And the door closed, and I was like, bye. And then
see ya.
See you later. And then
I'm the lady that's looked after you for the last 6 weeks. Don't worry about me.
Yeah, don't look back and get upset or anything. It's fine.
But you know, if you had have done, you'd have gone, oh no.
I know.
He was so upset.
Can't do right for doing wrong, Alex.
No, you can't.
So yeah, he toddled on in absolutely fine. I went and sat in a cafe and had a coffee, and I was just so proud of him for going in and he definitely understood, because that it was the social story just really helped sort of reiterating where he was going and everything. And yeah, his last couple of days have been good. He's been getting involved with the lessons in the morning, more of a kind of relaxed afternoon. The OT started today, and she's already implemented some really good things. And I think the teachers are really enjoying it as well, because they're learning so much along the way, which they can utilize for the other children. You know, because I'll be buying a couple of bits, or the school will. I'm working all that out at the moment, but I'm like, look, utilize that across the classroom. You know, there'll be other children in there that can't afford an occupational therapist. If this thing works for other children, you know, make the most of it.
100%.
So yeah, so she's started now, and his speech and language therapy starts tomorrow. So I'm really excited with all the new words that he's saying, how she'll kind of utilize that in sort of more of a lesson form. So yeah, so all seems to be going okay. We did have something that happened over the weekend which I had to share, and it happened and I went, great podcast content. As John and I were stood there really embarrassed. So
Oh no.
oh
don't
God,
worry.
I think
So I haven't heard this. I definitely haven't heard this.
I think this is probably one of the worst things that
Oh
has
no.
happened,
Oh wait.
and it was just awful. So there was a family in the park, and the ice cream van turned up, so they ran down to get an ice cream, and by the slide they had left, well, hidden 3 bags, which at this point I hadn't even seen. Well, of course Alex found the bag, and in one of the bags was a balloon which had 2 on it, and John's a firefighter and even he couldn't get there in time. He got the 2 out of the bag and just let it go and waved as it went into the sky, and he went, bye.
Oh,
And I was just
oh,
mortified. John was looking at me, I was looking at John. Alex had already gone. He was the other side of the playground now, playing on something else. Oh,
oh no.
and I get this really nervous laugh when everything's really awkward. I honestly, I
Oh,
lost
no.
it. I couldn't and John was like, stop laughing. And I'm like, I can't. It was just so awkward. And he's like, what do we do? Anyway, this kid is beside itself now, like howling at how awful,
Oh
like how
no.
sad he was that his 2 balloon was now gone. But to make matters worse, a little
Oh
kid
no.
went, it's stuck in the tree.
Could you not have sent your firefighter
I
husband up
did.
to
I was
go and
like,
get it? Could he not have called his
I
friends round?
literally went, how high can you climb? He just looked at me and he was like,
Not that
Amy,
high.
that's like 10 foot in the air. I don't have a ladder and I'm not climbing the tree. And I was like, call yourself a fireman, dude.
Oh
Honestly,
no.
it was mortifying. And John was like, what do we do? Can we get to a shop and get a 2 balloon? I was like, it's Sunday. What shop's going to be open? So he was like, what do we do? We apologize? So I obviously went into defense mode and was like, who leaves a balloon in a bag by a slide anyway? But yeah, John went up and he said, I'm really sorry. And they were like, no, it's fine, as this kid's wailing over the top of it all. And we it just felt like the whole park had watched it play out, and we were just in the middle of it with clammy hands thinking about how we could climb this tree. It was just
Oh no.
it was just awful. And I just turned to John and went, did you hear him say bye?
So you were just like, oh, what?
Did you hear him say bye to the balloon in context? And John was looking at me like thinking of how he could get a ladder from work immediately. Honestly, it was so awful. If it hadn't got stuck in
I'm
the tree,
so
I think it would have been better, but it was just waving at him, like
Oh
just
no.
making it worse. And then we ended up sitting on this picnic table at the back, and he was like, it's like with the naughty school children. And then I went, how can we escape without having to pass them? So we went out I mean, it's so pathetic. We went outside the other exit, so we did like a full loop of the whole park to get into our car because we was
Oh no. I'm
it
sorry.
was just awful. It was just, and
Those
it could have
moments you
happened
just
to
want the
anyone.
ground to swallow you up.
I really did. I just thought, that poor child that's never gonna get hold of that 2 balloon again.
That's
So
going to be
yeah,
a core memory for you and the child.
just funny because on the way home, and John went, I can never go to that park again. I said, oh, don't be so pathetic. He went, no, it'll trigger me. Absolutely trigger me. I'm like,
I'm actually with John. These things have happened to me, and I think I can't go back there.
He's like,
No, I'm too mortified just in case that person's there again. I don't think I can go back.
oh, I said the balloon will probably be there for another few weeks. So yeah, let's not go back and look at that. And I really don't want to have to see that child again. I feel so bad.
They won't
Alex
remember.
couldn't have given 2 shits. Off he ran to the other end.
Delighted with himself.
Delighted
Let
with
the balloon
himself.
out.
He'd said bye. He did what he needed to do. It was off
and
playing
left you
something else.
to deal with the consequences.
Left us absolutely mortified. Oh dear, the
Oh,
joys, the joys.
the moments.
Yeah. But yeah, we went to this splash park at the weekend as well, and it's so interesting. Like he loves a swimming pool, but he gets really anxious around splash parks, and it was just so, yeah, so interesting seeing his sister. Like she literally takes all her clothes off and like legs it in with her nappy, and then he's like so anxious and is on the slide in the park, which is really high slide. So we just divided and conquered, and I could just
Yeah.
hear her squeals of delight. He was living his best life, and I just thought it's in these moments you're like, you just have to just divide and conquer, knowing
Do.
that each of them are happy. And it's,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. We
but
find
yeah,
like the divide and conquer thing works quite
yeah,
often. Like we do
especially for
try and
their
spend as
age as
much time.
well.
I really think it does. And yeah, for sure. And I think also it gives them a bit of one-to-one time with.
Yeah, which they really like, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
In the park there was this like above ground kind of sandpit thing, and I listened to James. Well, what I saw a post of James's actually the other day that came on stories about autism, and he was saying about his son. I don't know if anyone saw it, but his son was at a skate park and he was just lying at the other end of the skate park. So he just copied what he was doing, and he said, it's not how how you thought you would be playing with your child at a skate
Mm.
park, but actually copying him and sensing what he was sensing. He was like, there was a real like element of calm, and knowing he was really enjoying what he was doing despite the fact it was just laying down. He was like, I got a real sense of like connection and
Yeah.
just enjoying experiencing those senses. Anyway, we were in the park, and Alex was in this, as I say, above ground sandpit, and he was just throwing the sand up in the air and feeling it in his hands. And I just joined in, where usually I'd maybe just watch from the sidelines. So I started throwing it up in the air and like sprinkling it in my hands. And again, there was no one around, there was no one he could have hurt, or. And I looked, and the joy in his face that
Oh,
I was involved in what he was doing.
yeah.
And actually it went just back to that whole thing, as like it might not be seen as like normal play, but
But it's
because he
their
was,
play.
yeah, it's their play, and he
Their
was
play.
happy and I was joining in. And just like anyone watching on was just a mum and their son playing, and it sort of made me realize that it's just getting out of that kind of social normal, what you
Yeah.
perceive as normal behavior. Actually, if you're joining in, it doesn't really matter what they're doing,
No.
you know. And actually there was a real, it was really lovely feeling it in my hands, and I actually understood why that throwing up in the air, it was like a real sensation.
Mm.
But yeah, and also like he's, a new thing is he started initiating like chase games in the park. So where he used to very much like to play on his own, um it's, and it's just like he's just so conscious that you're then in his world. So yeah, he'll come up to you, and he'll I'll say to him, say mummy chase, so he'll be like mummy chase and then run, but you can tell he wants you to because he's sort of turning around and looking at you. So yeah, that's been really nice, because it just for so long felt like you'd just be following him around a park, where now he's initiating you to come with him or chase him around. So yeah, that's been quite nice for us.
Yeah. Great. I think you're right in what you're saying. It's taking a step back and letting go of the expectation of what you thought play would look like, or how you're going to
Yes.
interact with your child, or yeah, what it was going to look like, and going, actually, okay, wasn't what I thought it was going to be, but this is how it is. This is what it
Yeah,
does look like for us. I think it just takes time, doesn't it, to
it
get to
does.
that place of, I don't know, I don't even know if it's acceptance, but just, yeah, just being like, okay, this is actually, and then it's obvious. Oh,
Yeah,
well, that's what I should have done all along. But
yeah,
yeah,
it does. It just takes time.
it
And
does.
also, like we've talked about previously earlier, just like ignoring outside noise
Yeah.
and judgment, and yeah, just accepting them for who they are, and accepting that they do things a little bit different, and that's okay.
Mm.
But yeah, it's not easy to get there. It's a journey, isn't it? And it takes time.
It takes time. Max went to a birthday party at the weekend, and actually, I didn't go. I can't. I've come to realise I cannot. Like, I really struggle with going to birthday parties. I think because there's just been, and actually he had a really lovely time, and it was all fine. And I
Yeah.
don't know. It was probably a combination of, he's growing up, so maybe some of the things that
Yeah.
he found way more challenging before, he's like, not finding as difficult, or a myriad of different reasons. And maybe also, like, maybe his dad is just calmer in going to those things, doesn't have all of that baggage that I have. That then I don't know if he picks up
I
on the
think they
energy of
sense
it.
it
I don't know.
100%.
So anyway, sent him off with with his dad, and they had a lovely time, and he had a
Yeah.
really nice time. So that was good, and he was so, like, just chuffed, I think, just to have been part of it, which is
Yes.
really lovely. And don't get me wrong, there's still some parties that are just an absolute no go. This one happened to be fine. Um, yeah, so I still think that there's a pick and choose of where's appropriate for him to go, which parties are, going to be a success, or more likely a success than others. But yeah, it was really nice. It was good. Came out with, like, literal cake and sweets and everything, and I was like, oh no, because he's really sensitive to sugar. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't take a lot, and he's bouncing off of the walls. So was quite pleased that within half an hour he
So
was
thank
off to
God for
his
that
gym.
trampoline.
Well, he was off to his gym class, and he burnt
Oh,
it all off in there. Thought, this is absolutely incredible timing. I love that gym class that he goes to. It's so wonderful for his confidence. He's very much the youngest in the class, I think, by probably a year and a half, about 18 months. He totally holds his own in it. But there's five little boys who go, and they've just really bonded together,
oh,
and they're all
that's
quite
really
similar, and
nice.
it's really nice. And from a mum perspective, I get the opportunity to speak to the other mums there, which is really nice,
Yeah.
because all our children are at different schools and
Yeah.
doing different things and stuff. So it's been one of those, things that you found along the way that are just, you hold on to, because they've just
Yeah.
really, really worked for whatever reason. His gym class is very much one of those. I hope
Yeah.
it continues on always.
And it's so hard to find clubs that work for children
Yeah,
with SEN.
absolutely.
It really
Yeah.
is.
And
Especially
the
if
ones
you're
that they want to go into as well, because this is the
yeah.
other thing we have. Like, there are clubs available to him, but he does get very anxious, and so sometimes it doesn't work. Like, we had swimming class, and for whatever reason, this was a good while ago, the first time we started swimming lessons, and he just could not stand it. And I still, to this day, can't put my finger on what it was that he didn't like, but he point blank refused to go in the swimming pool
Yeah.
week after week, and he was just saying every Saturday, I don't want to go swimming, I don't want to go swimming. um but I'm really hoping that there's another class that we've been able to find, which is a jiu-jitsu class. And I spoke to the person that runs it, and he was saying that majority of the class is neurodiverse or has some additional needs,
Oh
so they're
wow.
very familiar with it and really content. So I'm really hoping, I'm going to take Max along, and come with him, and we can have a look at
Yeah.
meet the teacher, have a look at the room and stuff. And I'm really hoping that might be an option too, because
Yeah.
he just, I mean, to anyone new listening, Max has boundless energy. He is literally like a Duracell bunny from about 4:30 in the morning, or at least that's what time it was this morning, to the moment that he goes to bed. Yay! Sleep is absolute carnage at the moment in this house.
Sleep's
But it's
overrated.
not just him; it's his sister as well. I don't know. They go between the two of them of who wants to wake each other up in the morning. And Matt and I are just like dying. Give us a break. Give us a break.
Oh,
So yeah, I'll let you know how that goes.
yeah, please
Clubs for
do.
sure can be really challenging, I think, to be able to for them to just be able to access it.
Yeah, yeah, very much so. I'd really like to find one for Alex
Mm.
that, yeah, because I was scarred by, for new listeners, I went to one when he was quite young. It was a gymnastics class, and he was at a stage where he wasn't following instruction. I kind of wanted to do it because a friend of mine's son was going there who was neurotypical, and so followed directions very well, and it was just absolute carnage. Once the practical was underway, he was fine, but it was the sitting down and listening to lots of different things. He just wanted to get up and do it. And anyway, he had a massive nosebleed, and then he came out, and I sort of took him out ahead of the rest of them, and all the mums that were queuing outside were like, and so just typical me, I just made a joke and I was like, don't go in there, it's carnage. And one of the mums was like, what's happened? I was like, no, it's fine, I'm only joking, they're all absolutely fine. I said it was his first time and he's just got a nose, but he's not been upside down for that long before. But it's just scarred me because it was just awful. And like the teachers came out and they were like, he's not quite ready yet, and you just think, I'm sorry mate for putting you through it, and
I'm sorry to me for putting myself through it.
Did I do that?
Sorry, General.
I'm sorry to your t-shirt that you'll never be able to wear again. It's just finding something that he's going to enjoy. It's not because I want him to do it because it's something everybody else is doing. It's actually something he's going to get something out of, like you say. So
exactly,
keep my eye out for something like that.
That will come as he gets older as well.
It will.
Where it's more sort of obvious what their passions are and what they actually enjoy doing. Yeah, because it's easy to, you could throw so much money at doing stuff that's just not right for them, and they don't particularly enjoy it. And it's like trying to just work out actually where it's expensive enough having a son child, where the money's best spent, really.
Absolutely. But talking of connections and friendships and all of that malarkey, we went to a soft play to meet Alex's little friend from school who's had to move to a different school, and she said that her daughter has been really emotional in the evenings about not seeing Alex, and that she wants to meet up with him regularly. And we walked through the door and they ran into each other's arms, and honestly it was just one of those moments where you're like,
that's
my
so
gosh,
lovely.
He's got a little friend and this is a real connection. And his mum wasn't exaggerating, she really got quite teary, and it was so nice. And they went off and played, and she was chasing him and she was like, come on Alex. And like, there was times where they were playing separately, but a lot of the time she was just getting into his world. And she said, I've bought him a little present, and can we see each other every week? And it was just so wonderful because they've just built that relationship themselves. And when she met him, he didn't say anything, and he was calling her name as well, so she was like, mummy, he's saying my name. And it was just such a lovely moment, which, like, even a year ago when we started this, I never thought he would be saying another child's name and building a friendship with someone and playing with someone. So it was a really, really lovely moment. And I said to her mum, thank you so much for this. And she was like, you don't need to thank me, this is them, this isn't me, they form this relationship.
Well done to that mum, because that's obviously a really beautiful child.
She really is. She is so sweet. So that was a very, very nice moment. And there is these lovely moments that happen, and it's even more special because of how they are, if you know what I mean.
I agree. And also, on the note of friends, one of our lovely friends has had a baby, hasn't she? So welcome to the world, baby Henry.
Welcome, Henry.
She listens to the podcast, so we're really happy for you. Yes. So welcome to the world, little Henry.
Very, very exciting.
And also for those who have listened to us since the beginning, and we really appreciate your support over the last year. Amy and I have spent many a conversation now working out how we juggle our busy lives of work and having our children and being able to dedicate ourselves to them. Ultimately, we've decided that we are going to start recording the podcast every other week now, so we're going to go to bi-weekly. We hope that you still sort of continue to enjoy listening to our podcast, and we'll still have the same format where we'll do interviews with different guests and catch-ups of our own experiences, but we feel like it's just the best way for us to be able to juggle everything that's going on. I'm sure you can probably all empathise with that juggle. We didn't want you to tune in on a Thursday expecting to hear from us, then radio silence.
And we feel like it's a good move for us, and also it just gives people a chance to catch up, because there's been people saying, oh, I'm quite far behind, I've got quite a few to listen to. So yeah, we'll still sort of have the same format of guest then us kind of doing a roundup, but it also means that I'll have time to start our YouTube channel up again. So I'm going to start putting on most of the videos, not all of them, but most of them, so that you get, if you want to subscribe to the YouTube channel, you can go on and watch the full video. So we've had quite a few subscribers over the last few weeks, so we feel like by sort of doing less as well, it means that we can put more into the YouTube channel, which is, it's quite nice, isn't it, actually watching the interview. So yeah, please go on and subscribe if you're a YouTube fan.
Yeah, the only negative drawback of it is it does mean that I do need to have to put my makeup on now, which
yes, this is true,
as Amy will well know. I do try and avoid as much as possible to get away with it. So yeah, the effort,
you don't need to
definitely...
you just
Oh, you're so kind, but we both know that's not true. With the lack of sleep,
you can put a bra on, maybe.
I'll put a bra on. Actually, I don't need to put the bra on. I just need to do my face.
Yeah, come on, Kaz.
Oh dear.
A respectable podcast.
Sorry, listeners. Sorry, listeners. I'll be on YouTube, bra and face. We'll be okay.
But yes, please, please take the time to like and even leave a comment for the podcast wherever you get them. But yes, until next time, I hope Max gets on okay for the next couple of weeks, Kirst. I look forward
Thank you, and Alex.
Yeah, to the update.
Oh dear, what a laugh it is.
What a laugh.
What a laugh.
What a barrel of laughs. What a roller coaster of emotions.
Balloons and all.
Balloons. Do not talk about balloons.
Do you know what I'm going to buy for Alex's next birthday? I'm going to buy him a number, where are we? 6 balloon, and I'm going to put it in a bag. And I'm just going to offer it to him.
Don't spend too much, because that's going straight up in the air.
I'm going to put a really big weight on it. Why didn't it have a weight on it?
Oh, well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, let's not.
There we go. I've gone into defensive
I'm
for you.
Again.
This is us.
Oh, right, let's go. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Until next time.
Until next time. Bye.
Bye.